driver's tips and how we improve. So I want to welcome you in. Today, we're talking about the journey and what it takes to be a great driver. I think a lot of times beginning drivers have a little bit of anxiety coming in, and it's really important that you are passionate and patient about your driving. I can't tell you how many times drivers just have so much anxiety coming into the process. You want to have a caregiver, someone who loves you and supports you when you come out driving. As of recently, I've been starting doing some YouTube shorts, and I've been getting a lot more views, a lot more subscribers. If you like these type of things, let me know. I think driving is definitely a privilege, not a right. Driving can be taken away if you are not following the rules and regulations of the road. Again, four-way stops. You want to come to a complete stop, remain motionless for 3 seconds. Knowing how to merge out in traffic, not cutting off cars. A lot of the beginning drivers overturn or underturn. If you overturn or underturn, if you overturn, you're going to turn wide. If you underturn, you're going to go over the curb. I think it takes consistent practice to merge out. If I was driving any of you who are online right now, we would start out in a school parking lot, working on turns, hand over hand in, hand over hand out. Here in the United States, we do hand over hand. In the UK and other places, they do hand to hand. We drive more automatics than manuals. So that's a slight difference. We drive on the right, where our brethren in other countries drive on the left. If you don't know, I'm a state certified instructor. I teach teens and adults. I'm an authority in the area. I've been doing this 23 years, but also I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to get better. And I want to encourage a safe driving community. The teens and adults who watch my content, you're new to driving. I want to encourage you to have a positive person who's positive around you. A lot of times we're always in a hurry to get out and learn how to drive, in a hurry to get our permit, in a hurry to take our road test. And as a result, we struggle and we fail. Parking is one of the hardest challenges that we have to learn. And I want to tell you this from experience. You need to be able to know how to park effectively. Parking between the lines. You need to know how to parallel park. You need to know how to park uphill, downhill, angle park, stall park. Because in your life, you will go to a downtown area and you need to know how to master these things. In training, they taught us never to have students just driving in a straight line for a long time. I try to mix it up with curves, roundabouts, intersections, small turns, tight turns, wide turns. All of these things will help you improve. And that's what it's about. Do you want to improve as a driver? Do you want to be average as a driver? I try to challenge my students mentally and emotionally to get better every single drive. And if you set those goals for yourself over time, you will do a good job. Driving is hard work. It takes a lot of attention to detail. You've got to stay focused. There's so many distractions. Cell phones, billboards, cars, guys, girls. The more passengers you have in the car, I'm giving you some cheat tips right now. The more passengers you have in the car, the more likely you are to be distracted and crash. The first 90 days, 3 months, you're very vulnerable to having an accident. Through statistical information, males tend to be a little bit more aggressive than females, driving fast, aggressive driving. Females, you're not far behind. You like to drive fast too. School parking lots in the morning. I'm a school teacher, I know. They're extremely dangerous. You want to try to arrive to school early. You want to pick a medium parking spot. You're not a senior. You're not a junior. You won't be able to pull up in that easy parking spot and walk in. You're going to park in a middle parking spot or in the back. Parking is extremely important. You need to learn how to park effectively. Next, steering. You need to have your hands at 9 and 3 or 10 and 2. There are different methods. There is no absolute best way to hold the steering wheel. I want all of you to know this. I'll say it again. There is no absolute best way to hold the steering wheel. I'm in the industry and I'm learning every day. If you're making a right turn, you got to turn hand over hand. If you're making a left turn, you simply gradually turn the wheel. You have to be able to master the steering wheel. And in lessons 1, 2, and 3, we're steering, we're turning, we're going through neighborhoods, we're making right turns, we're making left turns. We are reverse parallel parking. We have to know how to do this, and we have to know how to manage our hands and have control of our vehicle. I'm a more chill driving instructor. I like to build a relationship, talk to you. It's about school, it's about family, it's about you feeling comfortable. And when you feel comfortable in the automobile, you will excel. I'm very chilled. You want to have a parent or caregiver who's going to support you. If you have a parent or caregiver who's micromanaging you, telling you what to do, it might not be a positive outcome. I need you to understand how important it is that you have a positive source. And I think that's really important. We have a lot of emotions dealing with driving. There's a lot going on in school. We're just out of COVID. So there are multiple things going on. And when you understand this, you're going to be super successful. That's what I need you to understand is have a plan, have a purpose. Your purpose is, if your purpose is to become a safe driver, you're going to have to put in work. You're going to have to work on your steering. You're going to have to work on your turns. You're going to have to go in, drive at night. You're going to have to go in and drive during the day. You're going to have to go in and drive when it's snowing, when it's raining. Those things take time. And over time, you can't rush this process. This is why many states here in the United States have a graduating licensing system. And as you progress through, no tickets, no at-fault accidents, listen to me now, you will improve and you will get better. But it's got to be a positive, where you're driving home from school, you're driving to work. There is pressure. You got to get to school or work in 10 or 15 minutes. If it's taking you a half an hour to get ready, you got to clean off the car, you got to go get your coffee. You won't get there in time, and your parents will be like, you're messing around. Get out, I'm driving. But if your parents really want to get you there, you need 30 hours in 3 months. It's an hour and a half a week. One of my students said, hey, I just figured it out. I said, what? It's an hour and a half every week. And you'll have your 30 hours. But that's just a minimum. You need to drive as much as you can and as often as you can to learn those fundamentals. Let's talk about driving during rush hour. People are very impatient. So my suggestion, you stay in the middle or right lane. You don't want to go to the left lane. They're going to be tailgating you, forcing you to go much faster. And that's something we really don't want beginning drivers to deal with. How do I know? I'm an authority in the area. I have seen best practice, but also I'm humble enough to know that there's always room for improvement. And that's how I try to improve. I try to get better every single time I teach students how to drive. I try to understand everyone has a different style, right? You could have 10 driver's ed instructors. One could be really strict. One could be funny. One could be silly. One could be really tired. You get the idea. I try to use a sense of humor. I try to use dad jokes. I also am very honest with my students. And if you're struggling, I will tell you what you're struggling with. So I need you to understand when you struggle, is it most of the time is steering or speed control coming out of your turn. So you have to continue to work on your turns, work on your speed control, and that is vital. A lot of beginning drivers don't accelerate out of the turn. They put their foot on the brake. They coast. And if you coast through your turn, cars will literally bunch up behind you, and people are scared that they're going to hit you, and then they lay on their horn. And then what happens, you hit the gas, and we lunge forward. Next is the parking phase. You got to be able to park properly in the lines. I always tell students to prepare for that road test. I plan backwards. I plan as if you're 16 and a half, you got your 50 hours of driving. We work on parking every single day. Parallel parking, stall parking, angle parking, backing into a driveway, I've always backed into a driveway. I've showed my son how to back into a driveway. I've showed my daughter how to back into a driveway. We reverse in slowly. We have the backer camera as the cheat code, but your best backer camera are these two beautiful eyes. You look out of your back window and you turn the wheel slowly, looking left and right, and occasionally you look in the camera. You need to be able to back in. You also have to have a patient caregiver. If your caregiver is not patient, screaming and yelling at you, you won't learn how to drive. You won't want to drive. Here's another tip. A lot of teens and young adults are waiting till they're 18, 19, 20 because mom and dad is not supportive of me. They're always screaming at me. So you don't want to drive, right? Have a young lady who's 17. She wasn't ready for driving. And I understand that. So I am very supportive. We have students who've been in the car since they were like 15. We have students that have never been in the car and they're 18 or 19. There's a wide difference. Please listen to me. There's a wide difference of drivers that I deal with. We always work on those fundamentals: steering, turning. I never want my driver to be rushed to pull out in front of traffic. That is, listen to me now, that is the most terrifying event, pulling out in front of traffic. And if I could tell you one thing, you really need to judge distance. I've had students hit the brake instead of the gas, or trucks coming. I'm like, oh my God. I've had students get their foot stuck between the gas and brake. Very dangerous. So you want to wear thin sole shoes. You want to be comfortable. I try to keep the car nice and cool. I don't want it warm because we'll fall asleep. And some of these things definitely help you. We have the music really chilled or very low. If you're bopping to The Weekend, right? And we all love The Weekend. If you're bopping to The Weekend, you won't be focused on driving, okay? And I understand this. We do get out to stretch our legs. The lessons are 2 hours. I have 2 students in the vehicle. We're working on steering, turning. Roundabouts are very, very huge. There are a lot of roundabouts in the UK. There are a lot of roundabouts in the United States. So you need to be able to yield to traffic, look left, look right, yield. If a vehicle is already in the roundabout, you yield and then let them out, okay? Timing. A lot of beginner drivers go too slow or too fast. So you end up kind of out of control going into the intersection. I have to intervene and squeeze the brake. If your driving instructor has to squeeze the brake or turn the steering wheel, you're not really going to learn best practice. I also try to give them a system of success. Good driving teachers encourage success. They communicate with their students. They make them feel good. I just wanted to say thank you. Please subscribe. I'm a driving instructor. I am implementing shorts. And if you like this type of content, let me know. Type in some questions. I'm getting a lot of comments because I want to make sure that you are successful. So I'm going to let you go and see you on the replay. Bye.